Hey guys, ArchieLuxury on the Poor Pluta channel doing a paid review today. A paid review. And this one here, this paid review is for Mike. And this is paid review 21QA141. A quick wristwatch check. I'm wearing the Z Blue Milgauss. And let's jump straight in. Hi Arch, I hope you are well and staying healthy. Back in 2018, I wrote to you for a review of my collection and some advice on my next watch. At that time, my collection included an Oris Williams Day Date, my very first watch gifted to me by my wife, a Tudor Black Bay Red ETA, and an Omega Speedmaster, my wedding watch. Back then, you advised me to get a Rolex as I had been patient by getting my master's, getting married, and buying a house. I'm now writing to you to provide an update on my collection and ask the all-important question, where do I go from here? I have always considered myself an enthusiast who has gained so much of my knowledge about the watch world through your channel along with other mediums. My overall goal in this watch journey of mine was to enjoy the pieces while appreciating the opportunity to experience them. That, paired with your advice of buying right, so I would never lose too much, has made this an enjoyable experience thus far. After your review, I purchased my first Rolex, a grail for me, the 116710 Batman. From that point, I went through a period of buying and selling in search of the perfect collection to me, which I have come to learn is always evolving. Since then, I had the opportunity of owning, although not all at once, a no-date ceramic sub 114060, a vintage non-red sub 1680, a GMT Master 2 Coke 16710, and a Tudor Pepsi. In your review from 2018, you mentioned that Rolex was as good as cash, that if I ever stuck in the Caribbean and needed a ticket home, that Rolex would get me out of fighting trouble. You also mentioned that buying was all about the deal. These two things proved to be so true, as I did not lose much when I traded in the watch above, and in some cases made a little on them. Very good indeed. I've decided to concentrate my collection on pieces I genuinely wanted and would enjoy, and tried my best to avoid purchasing pieces I knew would not remain in my collection for the long haul. Below is my current collection. He's got a Oris Williams Day Date. This watch has too much sentimental value to part with. The Omega Speedy, similar to the Omega, is sentimental value, as this was my wedding watch. The Rolex Batman 116710, purchased before it was discontinued, where secondary market prices weren't unbelievable. He's got a Rolex Daytona 116500 LN, black ceramic dial, ceramic bezel. Black dial, ceramic bezel. Black ceramic, yeah, okay. Soon after the Batman, I saw my first ceramic Daytona in person, and this became a super grail. I had to part with a few of the above pieces and kicked in some coin to pay the secondary market prices a few months ago before the Daytona prices went astronomical. I was a bit lucky on my part, but I saw it as an opportunity of a lifetime that I may never get again. And finally, an IWC Portuguese automatic 40mm. My parents were both immigrants to the States from Portugal, so I always felt appropriate to own a Portuguese at some point, and it does not hurt that it is a great looking watch in the new smaller case size. Okie dokie. All these watches get wrist time, as the most important part of the journey is to enjoy the journey. I am absolutely content with where my collection is, but surely the journey cannot end at age 32. My overall goal is to create a great collection that I can eventually pass down to my son, who just recently turned 1. So I come to the Pontiff once more for advice. I believe a diver would be a great addition to the collection, and I have had my eye on a Tudor Black Bay 58 Blue. I would love to add a pre-ceramic sea dweller. However, it seems as though Rolex prices continue to increase by the day. I have attached an admittedly crappy photo of my collection in addition to a few fun watches belonging to my son to get him started in the hobby. Any suggestions and recommendations would be appreciated. Your loyal fan, Mike. Mike, well done. And I got to say, I love to see the kitty watches in there. That's just so damn cool. It's cool. But all jokes aside, man, I got to tell you, the Oris Williams Day, yeah, if it's got sentimental value, Oris is not a terrible brand. I think where Oris went wrong when they had delusions of going into Rolex space. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But the Oris you've got there, it's quite pleasant. It is a decent Swiss watch. And I think that is a great thing to keep in the collection. If it means sentimental value, that is so important. Ditto the Speedmaster. You know, I love the Speedmaster. I absolutely, positively, 100% need a Speedy. I need to own a Speedy. I need to own a Speedy. You know why? They are just so damn cool. Interesting to see that you too have fitted it to a leather strap. I gotta tell you, man, I don't know what it is about the Speedy. I'm glad I got the bracelet, but I love it on a leather strap. I just think it just pops. So I gotta tell you, I think the Speedy punches way above its weight. They've gone up in price with the new Speedy. I would just keep the one you've got. That's a fantastic wedding watch. 100%, man. That's a beautiful watch. Which now leaves us to the three watches that are left. 2 Rolex and an IWC. Well, let's have a look. Let's go Rolex firstly. You got the beautiful Batman. What can I say? The Batman is absolutely, that's a grail for many people. Absolutely wonderful GMT watch, great proportions. I think the Batman works with the maxi dial. I think that's a fantastic collection to have there. That is a beautiful, the maxi dial, it is beautiful. It is great to have there. The Daytona, oh, that is a fantastic piece to have there. I think the Daytona is really magic. I really do like the Daytona. Yes, I do. The blacks are they're just absolutely gorgeous. Don't sell it no matter what. And finally, we've got the IWC Portuguesa. Look, I would say with IWC, don't buy any more. You buy one and step back. I love the beautiful Arabic font they use on the dial. It's a beautiful watch. It is very beautiful. My advice to you would be enjoy it, love it, but don't buy any more IWCs. Okay, so what would I do there? I gotta tell you, Mike, my best advice to you, 32 years old, I'm a little bit concerned that you might be going too fast. The danger is if you go too fast, what happens is you get yourself into a bit of financial doo-doo and you have to sell things off. I would slow down. You really have a beautiful 5-piece collection. You've got 2 beautiful chronographs. You've got a GMT. You've got the IWC strikes me as more of a dress watch. My advice to you, instead of getting the Tudor, what about a Seamaster, an Omega Seamaster? There's always some cool Seamasters. But I would seriously, my advice to you, Mike, your 32-year-old man, would be to, I'm saying this honestly, okay? I don't know your financial position. I don't know. but I would probably build a emergency fund. I'd probably put some money away so that no matter what happens, you don't have to sell what you've got. Because I think you've got a really beautiful collection. I think it's really beautiful. And that's what I'd want to do, is protect it. I would want to protect it. So I honestly would say to you, protect what you've got is a more important thing than expanding. And I'm kind of realizing the same thing. So I'm late 40s, and I'm sort of saying to myself, you know what? I got 4 Patek Philippe's. I love them. 3 Rolex, a Speedy, and a Reverso. You know what, Archie? Just slow down. Let's not get too deep in. Let's just slow down. Back the truck up. Instead of adding and then getting into trouble, why don't we build a bit of an emergency fund? Put a payment or 2 in front on the house or the lease. Just get a bit of padding, because the terrible thing is if you add too much, then when the shit hits the fan, you're going to sell the Daytona. And that's not what I would want to do. So I reckon I'm trying to tell you nicely, just back off a bit and add some security. I would rather you preserve what you got, because that's a beautiful collection. I even don't mind the IWC. I wouldn't buy another one, just have the one. I would seriously just take it careful. So that's kind of what I would do. Instead of just adding, I would say, hey, I really love what you've got. What do I need to do to make sure that I don't need to sell it? So I would dare say I would love to see 2 Rolex and 2 Omega. I think the Tudor, I got to be honest with you, I've been disappointed in the Tudor. I had the Black Bay, the 41mm. I wasn't that happy. I mean, I was almost happy. I got to be honest with you, if I went through the experiment again, I might go Seamaster, Omega Seamaster. I think that might be a nicer way to go there. Just a quick double wristwatch check. Milgauss and the Speedy. Yeah, I reckon I would probably, instead of getting the tuner, I would possibly get an Omega Seamaster. Yeah, just back up a bit. And I would just slow down with the collection, because you don't want to have to sell some of these beautiful pieces just because, so my advice to you, just slow down, preserve what you got. I think it's more important to preserve what you've got than building and then have to, because if you're going to, I know what's going to happen. Normally people, they add too much crap and then they cherry pick the valuable, in your case, the Daytona. So don't do that. Don't do that. You got to keep the Daytona for life. So that's a bit of moderation, I think, is the answer. Okay, guys. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends. Guys, put some comments below. Tell me what you think. And remember, guys, I can't survive on Google Ads. I really do need some paid reviews. Please get a paid review done. Please get a paid review done. I would really, really appreciate it if you could get a paid review done. So please get a paid review. I can't survive on the Google Ads. I need a paid review to survive. Okay, guys, I will see you in the next one. $50. Look in the description. Get one done now. Hi guys, ArchieLuxury, and who do I recommend in America? In America, who do I recommend for quality pre-owned wristwatches? David SW, David SW, David SW. Go to davidsw.com. He is the best, the greatest pre-owned dealer in all of the United States of America. David SW, David SW, David SW. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends, and don't be afraid to get a paid review. $50 for a paid review. It helps me stay full-time on YouTube, and I will see you in the next one. $50 paid review. I can't survive on Google Ads. I need your support. And guys, you could also sponsor me on Patreon. Patreon allows you to pay as little as $1 a month to keep me on YouTube. Hey guys, ArchieLuxury. Who do I recommend for watches in Brisbane and Sydney? Vintage Watch Co. That's correct. Vintage Watch Co. in Brisbane Arcade in Brisbane and the Strand Arcade in Sydney. Vintage Watch Co. Brisbane and Sydney. Ronnie, I've known him since the late 90s. Ronnie is a top bloke. Luke is a great guy. Vintage Watch Co. That is who I recommend in Australia. Check out Vintage Watch Co. and the guys' amazing range of watches. They also do service and repairs. Vintage Watch Co. That is where the Pontiff goes. You know, some of my Pateks came from Vintage Watch Co. That's right, guys. Vintage Watch Co.